Well, I think it's about time we looked a little bit more closely at respiration. And there are two basic types we're going to talk to you about. Again, more as an overview or an outline rather than in super big details, but some of the things will be made clearer, I hope. Right, essentially we know that respiration, from the last video we saw that respiration involved chemical change, so rearranging of atoms, and as we rearranged atoms we allowed energy to be released. Now this was done in the presence of oxygen, and we assumed that all oxygen was present, or enough oxygen was present to make this change occur and to maximise the amount of energy. Now, of course, this is not always correct. So let's really go through this again. Remember I said to you that the bonds in the chemicals themselves contain energy. And when we rearrange these chemicals, some of that energy is released while others is then reused to make new chemicals that we make in the process. So when we have oxygen and food, or oxygen and glucose as we normally show it as our inputs, those bonds are normally broken in the process, and that releases a certain amount of energy, and then those atoms are then rearranged into carbon dioxide and water. So when they rearrange it, we tend to find there is not as much energy required, so the energy is released. And we're going to find that when the energy is released in these terms, we actually get a substance called ATP, standing for adenosine triphosphate. And that is how the energy is then transferred through the cells and helps the cells do its repair, growing, reproducing, all the things that it needs to do. Right, so let's have a bit closer look at it. Remember I said in the last video there's a thing called a limiting factor. Now that is a chemical that, due to the amount present, it will either make it more or less efficient. Now the two types of our respiration are aerobic, which means oxygen is present, or enough or more than enough oxygen is present, and anaerobic, which is the opposite. So it tells us there is not enough energy present, or not enough, oxygen present. Now the one that we try to do most of the time is aerobic. So while we're just sitting here listening to this, or while you are sitting watching something and not engaging too much in activity, your cells are probably going aerobic respiration because there's enough oxygen. Your body's able to supply enough oxygen for that to be okay. Now when we sort of do a bit of exercise, then some of the time we're doing this without a sufficient amount of oxygen, and so we go into anaerobic. Now each one of these has got a problem, it's got a benefit, and it's also got a drawback. Now, aerobic respiration is more efficient. It does provide about 38 lots of ATP for every lot of sugar, but it must have a high amount of oxygen, otherwise it won't happen. Now, anaerobic is the opposite. It releases energy really, really quickly, but doesn't release much, or near as much. Okay? In some cases, it only releases about 2 lots of ATP per lot of sugar. So there's quite a big difference in terms of efficiencies. Now, if we are doing something, and it says in the last sentence, if we're doing something for a longer period of time, we tend to slip into anaerobic respiration because we need a fast supply of energy. It might be we're trying to escape from something, or we're trying to rush towards something so we can have more food, or something is going to benefit us. So let's have a look at these two things in a nutshell. Right, in this one here, on the first one, is aerobic respiration. Now it goes from a rather large chemical into a rather small chemical. So the large chemical is the sugar, and the small chemicals are CO2 and H2O. They're small. Now this has got high E, and these ones have got lower. I'm going to put it as lower E, because they've got less bonds. So the number of bonds you've got in here, now if we count those number of bonds, we actually find there's quite a few. Whereas in these ones, there's only two, sort of, or double that, maybe 4 bonds each. So if the number of bonds is an indication of the amount of energy, then we go from high energy to low energy, or lower energy. Over here, we've still got a large sugar. And that means we've got relatively high energy because we've got lots of bonds. But let's look at this. It doesn't go, these are much, much bigger. So we've sort of got this thing, right? This thing is lactic acid. And it's got medium amount of bonds, if you like. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we go from something like 24 to 10. So it also has lower energy, but you can see the energy in the chemical here, lactic acid, is much higher than it would be for carbon dioxide and water. So we don't allow all the energy to come out. So that is why I'm saying to you that the aerobic respiration over this side here produces or releases more energy than the anaerobic here. Okay, hopefully that makes it a bit clearer.